when you don't hunger for something, you don't realize that others may be deprived of it. And so when you hear about theirs, you're like, oh, I guess that's important. Okay, I see that now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And you're right with that. And it's, I think too, like this situation that we're all in, we're going back to the grassroots, right? What does things mean to each individual, right? So the connections, right? Family connections, connections in general, hobbies, right?
Yeah.
Those hobbies that, we would all be going out and, going to a show or going to a restaurant or whatever, but now it's like, wow, I can build something with my two hands, or I can, like, the knitting, and like there's so many people doing so many different things. It's like, wow, you do that? And the creativity, right? Like some of the creativity of people putting various materials together to create art or to create new devices in a whole new way. It's just, it blows my mind. Right? And I haven't even been on social media. Right? Like I actually, when the pandemic started, I took a choice where I don't want to be on social media and seeing it in my face every single day.
Right.
Because that negativity of it, I don't
want to be part of that.
Right?
Yeah.
And like news, I'll get on the news once a week.
Right.
To actually see a live broadcast of news. Other than that, I'll catch snippets of whatever's posted through my work. Or when you first log on to your internet, right? You just kind of quickly click through and that's good enough.
Gotcha.
But Instagram and all that, I've been off for a year, and now I'm slowly integrating back in.
And I guess part of that is just the choice to say, how can I attend to the sanity, the framework going here? Because a lot of people, I think, maybe just coast through these experiences without intentionally considering and assessing what's going on between their ears. And so when you're just coasting, you're almost like a wind blowing a leaf along the way. That leaf doesn't have any choice or direction, so it's just kind of carried along the way.
Analogy, I like that.
But when you are careful about the influences that are coming in, you have a lot more options in how you're going to respond to the world, and how you're also going to keep your own framework internally, to say, what are the things that bring me joy, life, happiness, growth, and what are the things that detract? What are the things that deplete me? And so when you don't notice those things, you may necessarily be like having a gas tank full of holes, and you're not just getting to your destination like you're hoping.
Yeah, it comes down to your values and your filters, right? What filters do you want to put in place to keep you in that path, right?
And an important part of that, I would probably propose, is not to play the comparison game with others, saying they're doing it, so I should by extension do it, versus they're doing it, they may be able to handle it because I know I can handle a lot more, but I don't have to compare myself to the next person because I'm uniquely wired to be able to handle certain things and not others. And so how can I understand my frame so that I'm not trying to lift weights that are too heavy for me?
That's a good one. I like that.
Very
well done.
Thank you.
I like that a lot, actually.
I was going to ask you, so like I do with most of my other riders, if you feel uncomfortable with this request, I would love to know answer as well. I was just thinking, especially for the sake of what we were talking about earlier too, how delightfully delicious it is for my followers, especially the guys, to be hearing this kind of these reflections,
Yes.
Do you value your privacy? Can I honor your privacy by not posting this content?
Feel free.
Or you're comfortable with that?
Yeah, absolutely. Right.
I'd be delighted.
The more we can connect with people and share our experiences, and, however way it is, absolutely, I would.
This is what I call a video consent form.
Perfect.
Just again, so you understand what I'm doing, and you have my card now, so you can also peruse some of the things that I do. But I'd be delighted to do that. And while you're doing that, I'm going to ask one last question, because I'd love to hear your take on it, because it sounds like you've thought through this. And the question is, what would you say is the top challenge for being a guy today in this cultural context we're in? The top challenge for being a guy today.
I think we still live in the environment where complexities of who we are and what we have to live up to, right? We have so much social pressures as a male to live by in our family, whether we're married or have a partner or a significant other, or even just in our own immediate family of siblings. It's that male persona where you're still the hunter and gatherer, the provider, the rock, right? So when we break down, people don't know how to handle it. And we don't even know how to handle it sometimes, right? So I think that persona of what the male model is, just, it's still there, and it needs to be shattered. It needs to be realized that, you know what, you can take off the fedora, that's a layer. You can take off your mask, you can take off the bow tie, and just bring us down raw, right? And that's where I think
should I go here or around the corner?
I know here if there's space.
Okay,
yeah. I had you come in the back because sometimes this front area here is so congested.
That's okay, yeah. I don't think I disagree with you though. I guess,
I think it's still a stigma, right? And it's hard for us to live up to.
Yeah.
You know, we are fragile in our own way.
Yeah.
Whether we choose to accept it or realize it even.
We are,
right?
Yeah.
So
even in the expressions of strength, there's a vulnerability there that says, can you put this aside and not feel lacking?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. And perhaps another word that I would use, similar to what you were describing, is vulnerability. Can we feel vulnerable in not having it all together, especially on the emotional front, right?
Yeah.
And it would be fantastic to see more models of what that could look like.
Yeah, like I feel like, you know, the female or other genders of different definitions.
Yeah.
Like they're all getting a voice.
Yeah.
Right? And finding their way in life, in their new world for them.
Yeah.
I feel like we're stuck.
I see.
Right? We still have to be the rock for everybody else still.
We haven't been given permission culturally to let the guard down.
Absolutely.
That's a good point.
Today's the 23rd, right? Yeah.
Indeed.
Wonderful. Thank you so much.
My pleasure.
So appreciate our conversation.
Me too.
And even just like that you stayed, that just means the world to me.
It was my pleasure.
Same thing, like obviously the universe is looking out for me tonight.
I'm glad. Nice to see you again, Richard. I hope you had the pleasure again.
Yeah, absolutely. I will put you in my favorites and ask for you, so, as always. And I will follow you.
Okay.
I'm going to get back on social media.
Okay.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Richard.
Safe driving tonight.
I will. Thank you.